Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to the new universal or quasi-universal radio command. This is the iRangeX, the IR8M, and is nothing else than the new more or less cheap radio transmitter, including the 4-in-1 multi-module, so with the 4 main RF chip, and in order to support more than 100 different protocol, so from toys quadcopter world, okay, with the NRF2401, with up to more advanced professional protocols such FearSky, FlySky, and so on, and Spectrum. So this radio is nothing else than the direct competitor of the excellent jumper T8SG appeared maybe 3-4 months ago. So let's compare the two, okay, and which one is better in which different sectors by side. Let's go. Okay, here are all the elements you can find in the packaging. First of all, I will start with accessories. It's nice for such a transmitter bundle. They provide a small compact nano receiver into 2.4 GHz format, of course, working in S-bus, or more precisely in I-bus, because this is a FlySky compatible one, super compact, super small, standalone with one unique antenna, weights less than 2 grams probably, and yes, let's measure that. So less than 2 grams. Okay, since I feed correctly the weight. Okay, something about 2 grams. Yes, something. To be more precise, 1.9, and there are a small cable, okay, ending with a 4-pad micro JST connector. Here it's a micro server one, and okay, and the more the signal one also has something about 1.4 grams. So you have to bind it in FHGS2L protocol, and the succeed binding will also depend on the version of the DeviationTX installed on this radio. You have to know that this protocol sometimes need a fine tune. Okay, it's a new option appeared in the last DeviationTX OS. So we will check if this current installed one is already coming with this more recent one. We have a bag with a micro mini USB to USB, and there is also a small Allen key in order to remove if you want the pot of the transmitter. So now it's time to discover the transmitter, and as you can see, it's a gamepad style, pretty large. Let's compare with the jumper. Look the difference. So it's much more larger, okay, something 1/3 more. It's also by consequence more heavy. Let's give the indication of the weight. Already pre-installed the 4 AA battery, and okay, so let's give the weight. So standalone, we reach 503.04 grams, while the jumper with the 2S LiPo is less than 100 grams less than 400 grams. So let's talk about the alimentation, the power. We have the possibility directly to power with this 4 AA, an NEMH battery are working, and on the background you can see you have this connector. It looks like a balancer plug, but it's more compact. Okay, it's a 3 pads one, but only the 2 first are used, and to be more precise, okay, the pitch is about 2.25, okay, so it's GST pH if I'm not wrong, okay, and be aware it's the connector is larger than the classic 2S balancer plug, so you cannot use directly a 2S LiPo on this transmitter. You will need such kind of plug, okay, and you will need to make your do-it-yourself cable with this connector and to a GST one if you want. Be aware, okay, and this one with the 2S will be the plus 7.4 volt, okay. So you will need to replug it, and no problem in the battery tray, no other thing, okay, and appering. Okay, so I will try to reinsert the plug. Sometimes it's a little bit more tricky. Sorry. Okay, it's done. Just reinsert it correctly to not block a wire, and here we go. So what we have in terms of switch, we have here the left shoulder is a two-way. Be aware, it seems that the first or some version of the IR8M are shipped with some three-way position here. For me, for left and right, I got two-way. The external on the front panel are also two ways. Okay, and finally, the more longer one are two three-way. So 4 two-ways and 2 three-ways. More, we have the ports, okay, locked, and they are with this Allen key, okay, so in M2, okay, they are pretty precise. I really like it. What I really like is you can really grab pretty well and access through your finger very easily to the switch. It was not the case for the jumper, or the distance between the switches was very small, and more of the length of the switch are very short. So in the flight, when you have the FPV goggles on your face, it was not super easy to find and to not be wrong, okay, when you wanted to play with the switches. Here is much more easier, so less confusing. We have some trip button here, okay, small one, and more we have the navigation, okay, up, down, right and left. The more important, I would say, the entering, so enter into an option, sub-option, or to exit, okay, so to return to the previous position. Okay, so we made the tour, or we have now the main power button, and if you remove this silicone, we can access to a mini USB, where you will be able to connect to your USB drive, or to flash in the FU mode a new DeviationTX firmware. Here we have virtual micro SD slot not used. There is absolutely nothing, so don't insert any micro SD card slot, except you will need to remove everything to retrieve it. Okay, so as you can see, no external antenna, but good news, there is an antenna, a foiled one, and this one is attached to the main 4-in-1 multi-module with a micro FL IPX plug, so not very hard to install if you want another one, another coaxial cable with this type of connector, and with an SMA or a PSMA, and you can drain a hole and install your favorite 2.4 GHz antenna. So in terms of display, let's compare, and it's clear that the new one, the display is much more wider. So let's turn on. We have the deviation, but here we have a backlight. Why with this one? We don't have any backlight, or it's not super strong, okay, but look, the difference of dimension is much more obvious that the new iRangeX radio offer a much more comfortable, much more readable values. Okay, so be aware, one thing, when you will turn off the first things, we will have the power alarm ringing regularly. Why? Because by default, it's strange, but let's check that. The driver, the version of DeviationTX install is the same that the jumper, so they directly copy the special DeviationTX operating system for the jumper for this one. As you can read, T8SG, so this is his radio, so they probably copy everything. It means that for this one, the battery alarm threshold is set for 2S, because this one you must use a 2S by default, but here is more 4AA, so it means that you will need to make some change, okay, to adapt. So how to do, you have to go to the transmitter menu, okay, and go to the transmitter configuration and go down until you find the right battery alarm, and you have to go down through the right, okay, through the left button, and you have to access some set about 5 volt, for example, okay. So when you will be done, the transmitter won't ring anymore, okay, so like this, or you can even go a little bit lower, okay, something like this. Okay, it's down, you can exit now. No more black voltage on your screen. That's great. So what I really like is the gimbal here. Look at that. Thanks to the Bosberry system, you can feel it's much better compared to the jumper. Okay, here we have plastic pads. The dead zone, we will see in the channel monitor, is much more important compared to this one. Okay, so for example, I will turn on it. Okay, let's turn on the jumper. And let's check the channel monitor. So you have to go to the transmitter menu and channel monitors, okay, and let's check that. Look that when for example, I play with the elevator aileron, sometimes I'm not returning to the 0 position, okay? So it's really annoying, okay? Especially in Betafly, you will see that the value is not absolutely not often the right value. Look that. Sometimes it's 0, sometimes not. So it's very, there is the dead zone is very important. Okay, compared to the iRangeX, okay? Let's check the same stuff. We go to the transmitter menu and the channel monitors, and look that it's much more precise in my point of view, okay? And you feel that the dead zone is smaller. There is a small one, okay, but it's smaller, okay? So a good point for the quality of the gimbal and the precision and the space, the width of the dead zone. This one is much more smaller. That's a great thing. So what we have, let's continue to monitor a little bit the element. So we can monitor. Okay, let's go down. The aux4, okay, is this one with a port, okay? You can see when the left switch here is on the upper position, you can see that aux4, okay, go to -100 to 100. If you don't observe that, it means that you didn't calibrate the transmitter. So how to proceed? First, the first thing you have to go, you have to return to the transmitter configuration and go to the calibration. Here, press OK, center all the sticks, OK, press enter, move all the sticks like this. All the switch, play with them, OK, in all position. The port as well, OK, try to turn them in all the full range, OK, and then when it will be done, OK, one more thing. When it will be done, your transmitter will be calibrated. Press OK. The calibration is done. So we can return to the channel monitors. OK. And now you should observe here that the aux4, OK, when this left switch in the up position, it's between 100 to -100. OK. Like this, like this. One more thing very important. For example, when this one is up, you apply this one, look that, it went from -40 to -100. Why? Because physically this one and this port, this switch and this port are connected together. So you can play with the dynamic, okay, with this one. It's really strange, but it's like this. It means that with this radio, either the aux4 is this two-way switch or this port. It's up to you. It will depend from your calibration you did just before. Okay, so it can be very tricky, but in fact it's not stupid ideas, by the way. The same for the aux5, okay, between here -100 to 100 when it's down, and here you can also apply some offset, and when it's in the bottom position the dynamic of the port is much more reduced. Okay, so it's very strange, but it's like this. So not so bad idea. We have also the auxiliary switch A. Okay, so this is a three-way, so we will go to switch A0, switch A1, okay, and if you go down to switch way 2, let's see that. So actually it's an up position, so we have -100, -100, 100. In the middle we have -100, 100, -100, and down we have 100, -100, 100. So it means that it seems that it's inverted, okay, but not very serious. Probably by flashing a new version of the T8SG firmware, it can be fixed. The same for the B0, it's only a two-way, okay? So as I said previously, some radio got a three-way is here. You can see, I can go, oh sorry, the B is here. This one is another three-way, same remark. So let's say more for the C, which is this one. Okay, so we have C0, C1, C0. Look at that, we go to -100 to 100 and 100 -100. No, not going through the C1 because it's only a two-way. The same for the two-way switch G. Okay, so no other channel, so it's already not so bad. aux4, aux5 plus 4 different switches A, B, C. So we have a lot of free channel available, and that's not bad. One remark. If you are not very aware of DeviationTX, and if you want to know how to program a three-way position, it's a little bit more tricky. You have to do like this. Let's go, okay, return, I will show you, and go to the main menu, okay, and let's check the first model setup, so to load or copy the model, okay, and by default we have the one associated with the FHDA, so we should use the FlySky protocol, okay, into a position, okay, but if you want to apply, for example, use a three-way position, so be sure to monitor at least the number enough of channel, push it to 12, okay, then go to the mixture, because everything is done in the mixture, and maybe you will have to reverse the aileron and the rudder. So how to reverse? You will have to go here, to press aileron, and then press here to reverse, okay, or not the channel. So it's up to you. If you see that the quadcopter is got inverted command, so probably the aileron and rudder is inverted in general. So let's go now to the fifth channel, and we want this one to be, for example, this three-way, or let's say the switch B in three-way. So we have to enter, okay, and we have to go here where it's written actually expo and DR. So let's do it. And we will change it to a complex value. So here, complex here. Then we will need to add 3 pages in the mixture. So let's do it. We will add 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 3 is done. Let's now go configure the first one. Go page 1. Okay, go down. And for the switch, we say this one, switch B. We will select the switch B0. Okay, so let's do it. Okay, B0, go down, and we'll keep replace, and the source will be known. So we will go down, okay, like this, and the curve will be a fixed one, because we want a constant value. So let's do it, and this constant value, let's check that, fixed. Oh, sorry. We will select first, for example, to minus 100 or 100. It's up to you, but I will say minus 100. So we will go down, and we will go down with this value. Oops, sorry. Go down, 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 go down. Okay. Okay, the first is done. Okay, and we can go up. And now let's configure to the second page. So we are on page 1, press up, and we are configure the second page. So if you start to understand, we will generalize. The switch will be the B1. So let's do it. B1. The mixture will be the same. Go down, keep replace. The source will be known. Okay, go down. And here we still use the fixed version. So okay, fixed, and this one we will go down. We will select the scale 0. Okay, so let's press down. Okay, that's great. So now it's time to configure the third one. So we'll go to the page 3. Okay, and go down. So the switch will be the switch B2. Okay, go down and replace. The source will be known. Oh, sorry. Go down, and the curve will be the this fixed one. Okay, and this one we will fix to we say to 100 this time. So perfect. So we select page 1 minus 100, page 2 0, and the page 3 100. So go up, and it's time to save. Okay, and now we have on this one a fixed three-way will be seen in beta flight. You can do the same for the second one, where we will select more the switch A instead of switch B, and we will have a 2 3-way switch configured in beta flight. These two and the other 3 other can be seen without any problem. So it's like this we can configure in beta flight. So I think we did a tour, a small tour, and another problem maybe I found. If, for example, you want to flash a new version, first of all, inside in the OS, we will see in a few instants, I hope, there is all the file, okay, extract from expected to be the version from the 19th September of the D8SG jumper OS, the special DeviationTX. So for example, to enter into USB mode, you have, for example, to press the enter, okay, while pressing the power button, and we can see the USB logo. So here, when you plug to your computer, you should mount the small USB device and collect, for example, all the OS file. And good news, you have also the DFU file used to flash this radio. So in any case, I strongly advise to save all the contents of this radio the first time, okay, by turning the USB mode, save into a folder all the contents to be sure you will be able to restore. If you did a mistake, you flash the wrong DFU model, the wrong version of DeviationTX, you will be able to restore. Okay, be sure of that. That's great. Let's turn off the radio. And now, when we turn on the radio, nothing happened. So there is a bug. Okay, sometime when you enter into the USB or DFU mode, this radio refuses to boot. How to proceed? You have to wait some second or disconnect the USB, the power button, and reconnect it. So there is a kind of problem with a small cap somewhere where you refuse to boot. Sometimes it's a little bit annoying, but as soon as I do this trick, okay, I will be able to return on my radio, no problem. Look, that is turning on again. So a small bug like this, okay, a little bit annoying, and of course, you don't have to boot in USB mode every minute, okay? But it's like this. Another one I want to show you, if I can, is if you don't manage to bind this small receiver, it's because actually the version of the DeviationTX install is relatively old one, 19th September, and the fine-tune option of the FlySky protocol is not yet present. Let's check that. So, and you have to go here, go down, and let's check that. We press enter to enter into this option. You don't see, for example, the fine FREC option, okay, of the FlySky. It was added a little bit later, 2-3 months later. So definitively, this radio needs probably to be flashed with a more recent DeviationTX, and the main things to do, since they probably use the same that jumper firmware, is to flash this one. I not guarantee yet that is working, but in any case, since I saved my DFU file and all the files of the into the USB drive, I should be able in any case to restore the original firmware. So now it's time to check how to install the new I would say firmware, a more recent one, okay, and how to proceed. And for this, you will need a tool. It's a Walkera Deviation Diffuse, and I strongly advise more to install the 2X branch, not the 3.1, more recent, more an older one. Okay, so let's go now to check that. Okay, so let's try to install the last DeviationTX version available, and as you already know, it's the new iRangeX radio seems to have installed the jumper 19 build from the 19th September. Okay, so the first thing to do if you never install any DeviationTX is to install the so-called software Walkera Diffuse and the associated DFU driver. Okay, so please Google Devo Walkera Fun, and you should go here in this second link, and you will have to go there. It's written in German, but pretty below you have a list of different software available. I strongly advise more to install the branch 2.3.1. okay, so after it you will install, there will be a software, okay, and it's stored exactly into the C folder, okay, if I can, so exactly into the program file x86, and you should see something with Walkera as well at and the most important will be more the STMicro folder, where inside you will be able to find the driver to be installed. So how to proceed? First of all, you can attempt to just click and right click on the M file here and to try to install it like it. And if it's not working directly like this, you will have to install the driver manually as soon as you will first boot the machine. But before to flash the new DeviationTX operating system, I strongly advise to save the current one, all the files saved in the USB drive inside the iRangeX radio. So, how to proceed? Okay, you will have to press the ENT button, the right silver button. Okay, why keep it pressed while turning on the radio? You should see the USB logo appearing, okay, on the main screen of the radio transmitter. In the same time, if you go to the device manager, here you should see something here, USB composite driver appearing. Okay, so if you open the file, okay, for example here I will open a new one. Okay, for example here you should see this USB drive associated with the content of all the file of DeviationTX, the current version installed. So please copy all of them, okay, and save them into a folder. Here for me I call default DeviationTX. In any case, it will be very useful to restore, okay, if you did a mistake you will be able to reinstall the original operating system on your radio, especially the DFU file, very important. This is the main firmware coming with the shipped model. So when it's done, okay, the reflex is to try to install, for example, the DeviationTX last Untitled build associated with the jumper radio, because we can assume first that this one, okay, is coming from the jumper, is more or less the same hardware than the jumper. So if you go to the download in DeviationTX and go to the Untitled build, okay, and if you take the last current one, for example from the 20th January, here this is the jumper last build available, you can download it. Okay, so I already did, and unfortunately is not working perfectly, and in fact the screen comes completely black, so there is a problem of contrast. The setting of the contrast is not the correct one. Okay, there is a difference in terms of contrast between the screen of the jumper and the screen of the iRangeX. Okay, so that's a problem. So the trick to do, okay, after some exchange in the DeviationTX forums, is to now install the particular build done by Vlad Y for the iRange. So you have to go here, okay, this is a topic in the discussion, okay, dedicated to the IR8M, okay, and in this case he already modified the jumper build to change the contrast value, so now everything is okay. So you will have to download this file, so you will have to find it in the forum development build, and you have a specific thread associated with. So you have to download this file, the zip file, and then unzip the content of it. So it's what I did here, okay, and I've got here this famous dedicated for IR8M build, okay, and we have the last modification and of DeviationTX. That's great. Okay, so this is this one, and this folder you will find this DFU file. We'll have first to flash, then all the other files have to be copied and pasted into it. I will keep whatever the hardware.ini from the original version installed in any case. So I will copy this hardware.ini to be sure, okay, and copy it into this new build here, okay, in any case, to be sure that all the switch combination was correctly done with my current version of the radio transmitter. Okay, that's all. So now it's time to flash, and as I said previously, you will need first to flash the DFU driver. So I will turn off the radio, okay, and I will need to wait a couple of seconds, because as you may already know, this radio suffers of small bugs. You cannot turn on it immediately as soon as you turn the radio first into USB drive or in the FU mode. Either you disconnect immediately the battery connector, or you have to wait something about 20 seconds before to be able to turn on the radio. It's for me the main bug of this radio. Okay, now it's done, 20 seconds have passed, I can start the process. Okay, so if everything is okay, when you run the DFU software, okay, actually my radio is off, so no available DFU driver is found. Now I will turn the radio into a DFU mode. How to proceed? You will need this time to press and keep it pressed the EXT button, so the left one, while pressing the power button. Let's do it. And if everything is okay, you have the STM device in DFU mode be selected, and here you have something here appearing in the device manager, STM device in DFU mode. If you don't have this one, or you have exclamation point, you will need to manually install the driver manually by looking, browse until you find the STM driver in this ST microelectronics subfolder here I mentioned a few minutes ago. Okay, so you will have to pick up to browse until this folder, and you will be able to install this driver. And in general, in this case, after the STM device will be visible. Okay, so now we can flash. It's pretty easy. Just click here, okay, and select the new DeviationTX dedicated for our RX model. This one, we will copy the select the DFU file, select, press upgrade, yes, we confirm, and the flashing procedure will start first by erasing the content of the ROM. Okay, so since it's a file of more than 215 kilos, and since the USB is in mode 1, okay, USB 1 super old USB connection, so it's pretty slow, and well, it takes a couple of seconds just to erase, and after the same amount of time to flash the content of the EEPROM chip. Okay, so one more time, just a couple of seconds more. Okay, and well, no problem can be reported in general as soon as the STM driver is correctly seen and installed. I never met any problem during flashing. So when this operation will be done, the second operation is to copy the content of the USB drive with the last file, okay, of the last 19 build dedicated for our iRangeX radio transmitter. So it's almost finished. Okay, blah blah blah, fraction of a second now, and when it's done, we can quit the software. Now I can turn off the radio. Okay, the DFU driver disappeared. Okay, now I will not have to wait a couple of seconds now to rerun the rebooting the radio in USB mode. So it means that with the ENT button pressed while turning on. So what I will do now, okay, so I've got the USB driver, USB drive open. Okay, so I can go here, there, and for me it's this drive later, and then I will copy all the contents. So I will keep whatever the media model echo. One word about model, I will explain in a few instants. Okay, template, and I will also copy the text, any hardware.ini, and that's all. Okay, I won't copy the DFU file. Is useless to copy because it's already flashed. So okay, so let's copy it. We will replace the current file. It will take a couple of seconds. One remark about the models subfolder. It was advertised in the iRangeX to support up to 255 different model files. Okay, and since we have the basic, in fact, we have the DeviationTX software installed by default, only 35 are provided. Okay, so it means that if you want to have more than 35, you will have to create by yourself or copy or duplicate, okay, or for example from this folder we have here the 31st model file. Okay, you will have by yourself to duplicate this file, whatever, and change their name from model 31, 32, 33, and so on until model 255. Okay, and in this case, now after this operation, you will have and seen from the radio transmitter up to 255 model files. Okay, it's not done by default. I regret it, but that's all. Okay, so now I will disconnect and mount the USB drive. Do it by ejection. It's more clean like this. I will turn up the radio, and if everything is okay, after a couple of seconds when you flash, you should see. Okay, I have to wait because, as I repeat, if you don't wait a couple of seconds, the radio transmitter refuses to boot. It's really annoying. Okay, luckily you don't flash every day or the USB. Okay, the new version, but whatever. So after a couple of seconds, we have the DeviationTX, where you can see clearly read the current version of the last iRangeX from the 25 January. Now, what you have to do, you will have to change the battery voltage alarm and to calibrate your radio. As you already know, since the port and the aux shoulder two-way switch are linked together, you have to calibrate. If you want to use a port, you have to calibrate with the port. If you want to use more the shoulder button, you will have to use the shoulder button. Okay, if you calibrate with both, okay, by actioning them, the calibration won't be super great because they will interfere mutually. So now it's time to conclude. Okay, and what is very important with the last 90 build, we have now the new option for the any FlashSky protocol, especially if you meet some problem to bind the current provided receiver. Let's conclude now. Okay, so after this update of the DeviationTX operating system dedicated for the iRange, let's do the first important step. So as soon as you will turn on it, the very important step will be to recalibrate all the sticks, because you probably meet some problems. Redo the correct voltage alarm. Okay, and I will show also how to bind the receiver provided in the bundle. So you will have to go to the transmitter menu, okay, transmitter configuration, and then press calibrate. So after move the sticks in the center, the three-way in the middle position and the two-way up, and also the port. Okay, you have a small mark, okay, and the middle is the one is in this direction more or less for both. Okay, like this. Okay, and then when it's done, you can press OK. So now you have to move all the sticks very well. Okay, like this in four corners. Move the switch, the three-way switch as well here. Okay, and then if you want to use only the port, move the ports in all the deviation position, or if you want to use only the switch, shoulder switch, only this one. Okay, I will use both, so I will move both of them. So I will start with the maximum deviation for the port, like this, and then move this switch. When it's done, you can just press enter and it's calibrated. So when I'm here in the configuration, I will go down and change turn on the vibration, okay, turn by default off, and then I will change the battery alarm, okay, so, and I will decrease it something to 5, okay, a little bit more, 4 dot, I will select 4.7 for example, okay, like this is done. Now I'm ready to go. And if you want, you can check the channel monitors and everything is okay. So we have the aux1, aux4, sorry, associated with the port without any problem. The aux5 as well, okay, between minus 100 to 100 is not problem, and the other channel are working as well. The switch A, for example, between 100, minus 100 is minus 100, in the middle minus 100, 100, minus 100, okay, and so on. So now I will show how to bind this small receiver provided in the bundle. So you have to go into the menu and go to the and load the default settings, whatever. So since I installed the new DeviationTX, I lost the provided one, but it's not a big problem. So you have to select, for example, the model type. You will select, in an icon you can select a multi-rotor. Okay, the model echo you can select nothing. Not you can keep a helicopter. You can change plane or multi. Okay, that's done like this. Go down and select the current power you want. So let's say 100 milliwatts. Okay, go down one more time and then select the current protocol. So you have to select the HAFGS2A and go to the bind field. Okay, overlay it, sorry. Okay, and be ready to bind. Then take your receiver like this. You have a small bind button here on top close to the antenna, so you will need to keep it pressed. Okay, while powering, so I will use this USB power bank like this and plus 5 volt. And if it's okay, you have a fast flashing light, then you can go to your radio and press the bind button. In this case you have a slow flashing. Okay, and if everything is okay, if you turn off everything, okay, the USB and the receiver, then repower everything. Okay, so I've got a slow flashing. Now I will turn on the radio one more time. I have now a solid light is bound, and if you meet some problem to bind whatever, you can go now to the new sub-function available in the protocol. So go to here to the FlySky protocol, press N, and then now you have this frag tune option, center to 0. If you meet some problem, you cannot manage to bind it, please do some step 10 by 10, okay, from the negative value up to a positive value, and versus this wide range, one value will be correct and will be able to bind your receiver. Okay, so I will conclude about this radio. What I really like is the general gamepad style. You can grab it much more easily. I like the new switch, more spaced. It's better. It's not yet perfect, okay, but I think it's the switches are better, okay, more. You cannot be wrong when you're wearing some FPV goggle. Less wrong, okay. It's not perfect yet. Okay, what I really like is the size of the screen. It's very useful. You can update now directly the last DeviationTX, the last 90 reels. That's great. But in terms of drawback, I would say the first drawback is when you use the USB drive or in DFU mode, sometimes you will need to wait a couple of seconds before to reboot, to be able to reboot the machine. Okay, that's a drawback. You cannot sometime, and the trick is either to wait a couple of seconds or to disconnect this battery strap. And concerning the battery, I deeply regret that this one is not a balancer plug directly compatible. So it's a JST with a pitch of 2.55 millimeters. So you will need to do your own do-it-yourself cable in order to be to connect a JST battery directly. Okay, so that's the drawback. They didn't provide such cable, but in terms of positive points, what I really like is the general price is compared to the jumper radio, it just the same amount of price, and the quality build is much better in my point of view. The gimbal are much better, much more precise than dead zone is a little bit much more limited. Okay, there is a small one. Okay, dead zone. Okay, there's some small fluctuation about the zero value. Okay, but it's absolutely not catastrophic, and it's better than the original jumper. So for the same amount of price, I will advise more the new iRangeX. Okay, but be aware, in a couple of days will emerge the jumper T8SG Plus. Okay, with all effect gimbal, so without any friction. Okay, it's not a ball bearing. It's even better with all effect, magnetic effect, and a larger screen also. It's OLED screen, so it will be better, and the switch also are better. There are two also extra, and they redefine the ergonomy of the T8SG, so it will be a great competitor, but it will be more expensive, about $100, $110. Why this one is $80? So okay, so I think the original radio, the jumper, will decrease in terms of price. So if you have a budget about $70-$80, I will select more, pick up more the iRangeX. If you can afford more than $20 more, I will probably wait the jumper T8SG Plus in order to make a good choice. Okay, I hope you enjoy this new long video, and you found more or less all the elements. If you like it, please submit, and see you next time. Bye bye.